everyone, Hime here again with another installment in the Solo TTRPGs Explained series. Now, I know in my first video I gave some examples of each of the types of solo TTRPGs, whether that be journaling games, crunchy games, or balanced games. However, nowadays there's so many solo TTRPGs out there that even if you have some idea of what type of game you want to play after my previous video, it can still be difficult to narrow down exactly where to start. So for each of the game types, I thought I would offer a couple of recommendations of varying genres and game types so that you could really get a sense of how different these games can be. So we're going to start by looking at balanced games, and since these are very middle of the road in terms of crunchy rules and plot, I thought that this would be a perfect place to start. The first that we have here is Ironsworn, and this is a game that is often cited as people's first. So a lot of players new to solo TTRPGs start with Ironsworn because it's very versatile. Not only do they have the fantasy version that you see here, there's even a sci-fi version that you can play as well if you end up getting really into this rule set. It's won a lot of awards, it's been adapted. The Iron Valley game that I talked about in the first video in this series is actually based off of Ironsworn in terms of rule set, and so you might feel right at home here, and it's again a nice medium. So in Ironsworn, you are a hero sworn to undertake perilous quests in the dark fantasy setting of the Ironlands. While there is a narrative, of course, there's quest-driven mechanics as well. Now you might be wondering about what the rules are, because since this is a balanced game, there's supposed to be a relative balance between gameplay and narrative. The system here in Ironsworn is you have moves. There's a move for most common actions and situations, and you've got some momentum and of course the action roll, similar to D&D if you're familiar with group TTRPGs. So here you have an action die, you have your stats that you add, and then you're going up against a challenge dice to see if you succeed or not. So here you have a strong hit, so your action score is greater than the challenge dice, so you succeed. A weak hit is sort of a yes and, so yes, you succeed, but maybe not to the degree that you wanted to, or maybe there was some sort of drawback that happened as a result. And then of course, if your action score isn't higher than either of the challenge dice, it's just a complete miss. And so there is the gameplay, there's the element of chance involved that differentiates this from a pure journaling game. The oracles are really helped to guide you into that solo play. They help you determine the outcome of actions, details in world building, etc., etc. And so this game has really been designed with solo in mind. So they've got all these different moves for you, all these different oracle prompts, and you don't have to prep. And so even though the beginning sort of said, oh, well, we've got this sort of bleak setting of the Ironlands, you can always adapt this rule set to other settings as well. So again, like I said, Ironsworn, there's Ironsworn Delve, where you're going more into, subterranean caverns. It's a bit more like dungeon delving. So if, you're getting a little tired of dark fantasy, there's a sci-fi version for you to enjoy instead, which still has the same gameplay. And so, you can always try one. If you play Ironsworn, like the regular Ironsworn, and then you feel like, okay, well, I'm in the mood for something different, this might be a good segue for you. The next game that I want to talk about is Apawthecaria. Now, there are kind of two versions of this game in the sense that there's Apawthecaria that is you're playing as a witch, a human witch, and this is Apawthecaria with a P-A-W because you are playing as an animal. There's no humans, and so everyone here in this world is an animal. Humans are gone, lost to legend, remembered only by their ruins, etc., etc. So in this game, you are a healer, similar to in the, the human version of Apawthecaria. You are a healer, you travel around to find other animals that are sick or injured, and you help them. So while there is a strong narrative element and journaling aspects, there are travel mechanics, there are social encounters, you have to barter, you have to upgrade your tools. There's still lots of other gameplay that differentiates this game from other journaling based RPGs. I think this is a really cozy type of game where if you want something that isn't quite so high stakes, you're not trying to save the world or anything, anything, but you're really trying to enjoy this journey, traveling around this map. And of course, maybe if you just really like animals and want to create animal characters, I think this could be a really fun game for you to try. The next example I have is Midnight Muscadines. This is a great recommendation. This game is actually really new, but you can now buy the digital version. As of this video, we're still waiting on the fulfillment of the physical rewards, but you can definitely get the digital version of the rules and start playing now. So in this game, magic is waning. You've got all this sort of jam-based magic that I won't spoil too much for you, but this game, similar to the other games, has been designed with Solo in mind, and there's a very extensive toolkit of tables and oracles and things for you to use so that no prep is really necessary. You already have a map, you have a setting, and lots of guides and lists of items and things for you to use here. So again, while there's lots of opportunity to journal, and the game has some beautiful journaling pages that you can use for just that purpose, there's battles, there's an adversary and challenge system. You have to combine different ingredients to make jams with different magical effects, right? And so it's not purely about journaling, but you have to manage all of these different gameplay mechanics as well. I would say that this, compared to the previous game, Apawthecaria, it has some similar cozy vibes, but there's more in terms of rules. The character sheet, for example, is a lot more extensive with what you have to keep track of, so this definitely feels more gamey than the previous one. And so you might try Apawthecaria. I think that's a game that you can finish relatively quickly, and then this might be a good one to level up into. There's mystery, there's magic, there's challenges, and a beautiful map and lots of oracle tables for you to use once again. The next recommendation I have is the Librarian's Apprentice, and so this is a game that is very interesting because it comes on these little pamphlets. Of course, you can buy this digital as well, but I have the physical version of this game and I highly recommend it if you can get it. I don't know, it's just beautiful to look at. And so in this game, you are inside of this great library. It's infinite, it's ever shifting, it's a little bit dangerous, and it exists in this sort of liminal space. And so you are a librarian's apprentice and you're trying to test your skills by retrieving these different documents, right? And so I would say that compared to the other three games, or at least Ironsworn or Midnight Muscadines, this is a game that you can finish a little bit more quickly. In fact, on this official page, it says that the time to play is recommended 60 to 90 minutes, though again, these games are very modular. You can continue them for as long as you need to, and of course, you can keep a session really short, like maybe play this for 15-20 minutes, put it down, and come back to it later, right? But there's a lot of rules, actions, there's a bestiary, there's different roll tables, and so it's not just about journaling and taking care of, oh, well, this is a prompt and this is how I'm going to respond to it, but there's different things that you have to do, while again, these different oracles, or they're called roll tables here, but I mean, it's basically an oracle, gives you a lot of things to help guide your solo journey without you having to create a bunch of stuff on your own, because really, one of the benefits of playing solo TTRPGs is being able to just dive straight into it. You're tired, it's been a long day at work, and you don't have to worry about prepping so much. There's all these tables, there's some mystery, you don't know what the story is going to do or where it might take you, and so you roll for it. And then here in the library, this infinite, beautiful, great library, there's all these tables that help you do just that. Now, I have two honorable mentions that I'm going to end these recommendations on. The reason why these are honorable mentions are because these games are not officially done. They're not, well, I should say that they are not officially released as of the time that this video has come out. And I do want to talk about them because I have played both of them extensively, and I hope that in the future, once they're released, that you can take this as my hearty recommendation for both of them. However, at the moment, it is not fully possible for you to buy and play them. So the first one that I want to talk about is this game called Astroprisma. This is a sci-fi based game, and this is a game that, honestly, I almost wanted to put it in the crunchy category, except there's so much journaling to be had. This game has a very strong narrative base, and so to me it still falls a little bit more into the balanced category, but it's a little crunchier than some of the other games I've talked about. And so this still plays very much like an RPG. You choose a job class, you have a crew, you explore. There's a hex map, so you're exploring this universe. It's a hex crawl. And then there's very robust combat, not just against monsters one-on-one, but you actually, after designing your spaceship, you can fight against other spaceships. You know, you equip your spaceship and all this stuff, right? But again, this game has a very strong narrative base. There's different endings and story choices. It feels very Mass Effect-like, and the game is very friendly to pick up. There's so many oracle tables. You can see here an example of just sort of the yes, no, and a couple of like the basic themes here that you can use, but there's so many other oracles throughout the book as well. You need a name for this random NPC you ran into, there's an oracle for that. You need to know what kind of planet you just touched down on, there's oracles for that as well. And this is a game that I was able to complete a campaign for, where I really didn't need to use any oracle tables from, you know, other resources. Like, this game really has it all. Like, there's so much content and so many resources jam-packed into this book, and I love it a lot. It has a very dynamic system while having such rich narrative content. I just, you know, I wish it was out and ready for you all to play. So currently, as of the time that this video is being released, they are still fulfilling rewards. So the game is done, they're still fulfilling the rewards, and so it is not possible for the general public to buy this game yet, but hopefully that happens in the very near future. The second honorable mention, and the last game that I'm talking about today, is Drakonym, and this is a game by Crossed Paths Press, who have released another game called Bramble Trek and another called Covens of Midnight, which should be, you know, officially releasing soon. But this game I wanted to talk about in the balanced category because, similar to Astroprisma, it is very narratively powerful. There's so many books that talk about the setting, the world, all the different kin that make up this world, but also there's so many rules for the battle system, for exploration, and when you play this solo, it's such a good experience. There's so many oracle tables. There's oracles for weather. There's oracles for what random thing did you find at the marsh or on the plains. In this game, there's so many oracles that it just makes it so easy to start this adventure, to meet your dragon, to meet other people that inhabit this world, and it's so narratively robust while still having all of these other crunchy type of systems as well for battle and exploration and the bond that you develop with your little dragon companion. And so this is a game that I really think as a solo TTRPG is very balanced and a lot of fun to play. Like, it's almost addicting in a way. It's difficult to put down. But again, so compared to Astroprisma, which is currently in fulfillment, this game as of right now is still in development, but hopefully should be releasing in late 2026. And so again, I'll update this video once it's officially released, but this is my 100% endorsement of this game. And this game, Drakonym and Astroprisma, I've played pretty extensively on my channel. So if you go back and look at some of my other videos, you will definitely see these on here, right? And I hope that this gives you a wide variety of things to choose from. But hopefully this starts pointing you in the right direction and that you enjoy this little foray into solo TTRPGs, right? And so that's it for this video. In the next one, we'll take a step back from recommendations and I'll be talking about how to handle NPCs or non-playable characters, because your character is just one person in this wide world of the story that you are creating, and so it can be a little intimidating how to handle the other characters that come up. And so the next video will be covering, you know, different strategies on how to deal with that. So I hope you look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching and for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.